Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Back again with another installment of Winning with the Closed Sicilian. And in this part, we are going to be looking at systems beginning with the move Knight G to E2 on move 6. And once again, those of you who are new to this, we are looking at the entire system involving the closed Sicilian, and I have included all of the games analyzed into a gigantic playlist. So if I seem to just be going over or skipping some points, it's just that I've probably addressed them already in earlier videos. So we are going to be moving quite quickly. Um, Again, no engine as usual, just discussing general principles and ideas. And as usual, in my links below, I will be posting the the actual book that my comments and some of the games are based off of, and also and or books links related to the exact opening um, that we're discussing. So let's get right into it. This game is from Groningen, 1967, from a young Anatoly Karpov with the white pieces. I believe he was just but he was an international master at the time, and he's playing against a player with the black pieces by the name of Schaufelberger. All right, so let's get to our start position. So E4, C5, knight C3, knight C6, G3, G6, bishop G2, bishop G7, D3, D6. Let me just say this. I don't know if I did say this before. Is that if you're playing the closed Sicilian as white, you are not looking for some type of theoretical advantage coming out of the opening. So let's get that straight. Uh, don't think you're gonna have plus, advantage or slight advantage coming out of the opening. It's already known that it's pretty much uh, equality right out of the opening. But what opening nowadays is not equal? That's why you see the same openings employed at top grandmaster level because especially with the engines and the advanced state of technology nowadays, it's very hard to secure any kind of advantage out of the opening with white nowadays. So basically, if you're playing the closed Sicilian, you're trying to get a position that you're familiar with, and also uh, that avoids tons of theory, such that, as you would find in the night off variation of the Sicilian or the dragon. All right, and you're trying to do what I like to call Magnus Carlsen your opponent. Is you get some a regular position where you could just play chess and outplay your opponent in the middle game and the ending. So with that said, here's the key move that we'll be discussing for the next few games. So knight GE2. All right, and basically these systems are regarded as a good way of getting a solid position where white is not taking any risk. Okay, of course he's going to castle on the king side. He's fighting for the d4 square. All right, and he still has the option, as we see in most of these variations, to play f4. Okay, that's one of the key um, ideas in the closed Sicilian is that white usually will not block his f pawn from advancing. All right. Now, so this particular game, black had played queen d7. All right. So now the move looks kind of odd, right? It looks kind of bizarro. Um, so black is basically trying to refute the plan of white, just right out of the box. All right, and what he's going to do is his idea is to create a double fianchetto, castle over here on the queen side, and then just launch his own attack on the king side. All right, so you see this sometimes in the open Sicilians, right? So um, now one of the main differences, the position being closed, white really has no weaknesses. Okay, each side is basically played in a manner whereby they've allowed each other to set up their respective armies, so to speak, without engaging in a conflict here. Game continued. Bishop to e3, b6, and now f4, bishop b7, and now castles. All right. Again, this is all normal and typical with the closed Sicilian. d4 is an option now, so knight d4, queen d2. Remember this theme again from watching the other videos, and now h5. So bold attempt by black basically to refute white's idea right away. h3. Okay. So this is a common move also, and this ensures that the H file will not be opened up for black's benefit. So after H4 from black, then simply bypassing with the G4, keeping the king side closed for a little bit longer. All right. F5 is played, and now bishop F2. Again, guarding against this type of idea also. And now black continues with his plan, castles. And now knight takes d4. Bishop takes d4. All right. And the reason why he didn't exchange pawns is because after knight takes d4, c takes d4, knight e2, e5, the c file gets flung open. And you see where the king is. c3, right? This pawn is threatened, so d takes. And not b takes, but knight takes, again keeping the file open. Knight e7, and then a4 with this idea of opening up black's queen side. And you can see that white is going to be the first to strike. So this is why Schaufelerger, decided to play bishop takes d4 and trade the dark square bishops. Again, similar variation, c3. So we see basically that the same variation has occurred, except white has a little less firepower because of the trades. Okay, and now you have to remember that when you have this opposite castling, opposite wing castling, you don't want to just throw the pawns forward without thinking about the resulting positions, because sometimes you can end up stalling your own attack if your opponent is able to just block your attack, by bypassing the pawns and stuff like that. So you have to be careful and calculate. Okay. So now h4 by black, and now c takes d4, h takes g3, d takes e5, knight e7. Okay, queen c3. Notice how black can't really break through on the king side. King b8, knight takes g3, f takes e4, d takes e4, d5, rook a d1. And notice Karpov showing that trademark style already with his great instinct for danger. First, so if e takes, then bishop takes, and now rook a d1 trying to exploit the pin, and queen e6. All right, and now with things being a little bit more open, then white would have to worry about a counterattack from black. So he just plays rook a d1, and now d4, keeping things closed. Queen d2, and now black gets desperate and just plays rook, gives up the exchange here. Rook takes h3, queen takes h3, but then Karpov just answers quickly, driving the queen back, and now rook f3. Okay. And what rook f3 does is it stops this knight from coming here to f5. All right, because before with the with the queen and bishop opposed to each other, this pawn really can't capture over here. All right, so black has this idea of playing his knight to f5 here, and of course if knight takes, then pawn takes, and that would open up the g file and give black some fuel for his attack. So here Karpov played rook f3, so now he could just take if knight ends up there. So rook h8 is nothing to worry about because the king can always escape here if he needs to. And plus these squares are all covered. Karpov just takes, rook takes d4, knight f5 anyway, and he takes, e takes, g takes, rook d3, rook g8, and then just simply queen h2, getting out of the pin. And here black resigned. So we just saw a real simple, straightforward game and straightforward example in this line, beginning with knight ge2, which is one of the simplest and easiest lines to play in the closed Sicilian. But you can see again the familiarity of the position. And this is usually one of those lines a stronger player would play against a weaker player. It's super solid, and it's basically you just set up your position and wait for your opponent to overstep his boundaries. And this is what Anatoly Karpov did here. So we'll be looking at another game in this variation on the next video. But until then, please like, subscribe, and comment. And please feel free to donate, even if it's just like $1 or 50 cents. And check the links below. There's some great DVDs or books, especially a book that inspired these series of videos. And I'll see you soon on the next one.